Let's get started. And in our first story, about 10 communities in the Kpalba area of the northern region have been cut off the district capital Saboba after rains flooded the only bridge constructed to give them access to the town. Correspondent Martina Bugri takes a look at what has become an annual phenomenon and the effect it has and has had on education, healthcare delivery, as well as security in that part of the country.
Heavy rainfall in the northern region this year has rendered several roads untravelable and in some cases cut communities from either their district capitals or the regional capital. Such is the Kpalba bridge in the Saboba district. It is currently flooded and commuters would have to use canoes to be able to cross to the district capital. A nurse at the Kpalba Health Center, Mary Willam, said they cannot cross to get vaccines, even though it is time for them to pick their vaccines.
This is my first time experiencing this, and it has been a worry, a serious worry, because some people come from the other parts, which is also under our sub-district, which is Kpalba. This place is called Kpalba. But because of the flooding, we hardly have the chance to go to our main district, or when we have referral kits. It's almost the middle of the month and I need to go to the district for my vaccines, which we are supposed to start our outreaches tomorrow. And because of the flooding, I don't think I can.
Not only is it affecting healthcare, it has also increased crime around the area because armed robbers have taken advantage of the situation and are robbing people. Saboba Police Divisional Commander Kwame Awuni said if there is a security situation and they need reinforcement, it will be difficult.
This road problem has affected us. Because of this problem, armed robbers have taken advantage to attack vehicles from Tamale, Yendi, going to Saboba. And so it's affecting us. In case of any insecurity, we need reinforcement from Yendi. It will be a problem. They cannot come.
Head teacher of the Dimon DA Primary, Idoki Samuel, said lots of students are currently at home because they cannot cross to the school.
I pass through this road almost twice a week. I cross to my school, stay there, then weekend I go home. So often we cross here, and this is the problem we face every year. And this year the water has come so much that all of us are afraid. When we're in the boat, we don't know what will happen. It is just by God's mercy that we do cross safely. Our families, as soon as we go, before we get to school, we get more than 10 missed calls. They call to find out, have you arrived in the school? That's the cause they call to find out. Then also thank God at home that you've arrived. When you're coming home, you don't even tell them when you're coming, because when you tell them, they still call you on the way to find whether you've reached home or not. As a head teacher, I see a big problem for the pupils who cross to come to school, especially those going to secondary school. Yesterday was the commencement of the track 1 for those who will be reporting. Some are still hanging because they fear to cross this water. And we have about 3 GHS after this water. Most of them report go to Saboba, to school, others at Cherkoni, and based on this, it's very difficult for the children to cross and go to school. A lot yesterday were hanging here, some have to go back home.
DCE for Saboba, George Benjirini, said for now what the assembly has done is to provide life jackets for commuters, but appeal to central governments to come to their aid.
The major worry of this road is that anytime it is flooded, it stops any other socio-economic activity. And so our people are not able to go about their farming activities, they are not able to go about their economic activities, both and even social activities. If you look ahead, there's a market over there. Every market day, people come from Saboba town to this place for markets. As we stand now, they are not able to attend this market, and so you see that the economic aspect of the people is going back and back, and so it's a very worrying, because it's a worrying situation, because when you get here you see how people sit on the canoe to cross to the other side to be able to catch up with whatever activity they want to do. Their lives, their security is not guaranteed.
Now let's travel to the Volta region, and there's a community in the South Tong district called Kpalba. And in the community, the residents are drinking from a dirty and treated source of water, which they also share, apparently, with cattle. They are pleading with government to provide them with potable water. They tell Maxwell Agbagba they are stuck between the dirty water and bags of sachet water for their daily needs.
Here, this is what is happening. Some children wading in this stagnant water here. We also have some washing going on. And just gone by, we had some cattle also drinking from the same source. Now the banks is also littered with cow dung.
I've met a surveyor, Maxwell Lukuto, at his family house in Otame. He was born and bred here. His mother pours out a gallon of some of the untreated water into a big pot behind him. Maxwell says the water situation in the community has persisted for decades.
Yeah, basically that's it. We buy water from these tricycle operators who use the yellow gallons, go to the Volta River, fetch the raw water and come and sell to our people. Sometimes those of us with vehicles would have to take bigger containers or tanks and go to the riverside and then fetch and come and pour into our tanks for use for possibly 3 days, 4 days, and you have to fill again. And so it's been a headache and it's been challenging. We have another dam, the Kasangble Dam. ASIF constructed that dam basically for agricultural purposes. And so that has been the source of drinking water for most of the people. But with the advent of pure water, those who can afford buy pure water for drinking. But those who can't still go with the brown water that is available. We are appealing to the MPP government that as a matter of urgency, they should look at the water situation of the people of Otame and its environment, because it's really a challenge. I'm not sure they would want to see that suffering from waterborne diseases before they think about how to solve the problem.
I've now met the chairman of the Concerned Youth Association of Otame, Moses Kofisam. He says all their protests to get potable water have so far not yielded any results.
That is why last year, before the voting, we wrote here, no water, no vote. When we heard that former President John Mahama is coming from Aplawu to Accra, we crossed the road here to meet him personally. We stopped him here to show him that we have wrote no water, no vote here. He promised us, after the vote, when they won, they will give us the water. But because they have loose power, that is why we are still in handicap of water. So if MPP people, they can help us to get water, we will praise them. Otame and its community around, we are in 16, we have 16 communities around Otame. If you build story building, about 7 or 10 story buildings for Otame community, you have done nothing to Otame. But if Otame have water, your name will be praised.
Noble Bright Charlie is a former assembly member and a resident of Otame. He says those who can afford use bags of sachet water for cooking and other household chores, whereas those who cannot afford drink from untreated sources.
We don't have water to use. We don't have water to use at all. So we buy it every now and then, every day, from the Volta River. Tankers bring it, and small cars also bring this jerry can. Jerry can, that yellow can, is what we'll be using to cook, drink, and so forth and so on. Also, because of the drinking process, the pure water has become our district. We buy it almost every week.
I saw many big black water tanks in many homes. The residents are only praying for rainwater to fill these tanks.
Well, let's move on and look at this. Quite interesting, because if television and radio adverts in Ghana are anything to go by, there appears to be a high demand for various brands of feminine hygiene products, from various washes and douches to keep the lady parts smelling fresh, to the more potent medicated products aimed at tightening the vagina. Some young ladies, as a result, are increasingly resorting to chemical means of vaginal maintenance. But this trend apparently is not without considerable health risks, as the broad-spectrum antibiotics contained in some vagina tightening products can upset the natural balance of bacteria and the vagina's ecosystem. Well, Joshua Smith decided to bring us more on the subject.
Vanessa, a user of these solutions, says hygiene is the most important thing to her, adding she's never suffered any side effects.
As a female, hygiene is one thing that you should be particular about, and then also feel comfortable after using it. So far, so good. I've not experienced any side effects, which I don't think I would, because the product is good.
But a gynecologist at the Kpalba Teaching Hospital, Dr. Titus Boyo, explains due to the vagina's self-cleansing nature, these products being used by young ladies are completely unnecessary.
The natural physiology of the vagina makes it such that these things are completely not necessary. The vagina is a self-cleansing organ. Something that all that a woman needs to clean herself is just clean water.
Pharmacists disclose there has been a 50% increase in sales over the last 2 years, advising ladies to stick to one sexual partner.
In the last couple of years, from the data we have from our stores around throughout Ghana, there's been an increment, probably about 50% in sales from the last 2 years. And we believe this is owing to the fact that there are a lot of commercials in the media pointing to several uses for these things. There's only one thing that people are aiming at, probably to freshen up and reduce odor. But when they come in and they're asking for products that they've heard on the radio or they've seen on the television, that's where our professional judgment has to come in.
Fascinating stuff there. Now from the nether regions, back here to the Greater Accra region, where over the weekend, President Akufo-Addo visited the potato processing factory at Gomwa Bewaze. That's actually in the central region, the Gomwa West District. And he had a potato feast with his entourage. The potato processing factory, one of the government's One District, One Factory projects, makes bread, chips, cakes and flour with the addition of sugar. Managers of the factory believe that when the factory is fully completed and commissioned, it will reduce the country's sugar and wheat flour imports. Richard Kwejunyako spent some time there and has filed this report.
The orange flesh sweet potato, also known as a pomidin, is a variety of potato with great health and economic benefits. Casa de Ropa, a company under government's One District, One Factory, produces bread, chips, cakes and biscuit from the fresh roots of the orange flesh sweet potato.
As remarked by His Excellency, that they will give us all the necessary support, because what we need now is the support to replicate what we are doing here nationwide. Because when we are talking about bread, bread is consumed by every Ghanaian. Bread is consumed by every Ghanaian, and the basic ingredient of bread, as we know, is flour. Because Ghana does not produce its own composite flour, wheat, as the base material, we import. Now what Casa de Ropa want to do, or have started doing already, is to change these dynamics on the ground. So strategically, we have positioned ourselves to grow a locally produced orange fresh sweet potato and fanciful friend Santum.
Many farmers, particularly women in the Gomwa West District, have all become potato farmers overnight because of the prospect of the crop. The company has employed close to 150 of such hands. The farmers say the economic circumstances have begun changing. The job we used to do was cutting trees and burning them into charcoal. Thank God this potato job has come here. We pray the company thrives so we can support our family. Ever since this job came here, we've been encouraged. We're not working. Now we can support the education of our children. This job has been of immense help for us. The farm size of about 700 acres lies here with 2 dams constructed to keep the farm running all year round. President Akufo-Addo, who heard of the success story of the potato processing factory, paid them a visit during his tour of the central region. The president gave the company thumbs up for the lives they are already affecting. The president's entourage were amazed at the prospect of the factory that falls under the One District One factory. The visit turned into a feast with everybody grabbing either chips or bread. The president directed the Trade and Industry Minister, Alan Shemantin, to attend to all the needs of the factory to enable them fulfill their mandates. Richard Kwejo, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Yeah, that's nice, right?
Yeah, potato feast for the president, but obviously a lot of potential for this product.
Yes, and I remember, you know, in the Kufuor administration, they started all these initiatives, you know, the PSIs. There's this great friend of mine, elderly though, now in his 70s, I believe, and Mr. Mensah, Bolosu Mensah, wanted also to change our mindset about wood to be rather using bamboos. Never got caught on eventually. Yeah. So, well, you know, I hope that you get the assistance you need. But the gentleman doing all and spearheading is Obing Bafo.
Just reminds you of the potential we have in this country.
Yeah.
But well, that's
in our minds, or
in our minds. Yes, yes. That's where it all begins.
Yeah.
Well, that's how the cookie crumbles. But there's more to come when we open up the newspapers right here.